This is everybody's day. This is everybody's day.
Be a hub of weakness. One day the fine sister who is looking for husband will understand that on this side of the cross, they don't get married because you are fine. Because you'll be wondering why the ugly ones, because, well, they say they are ugly people. I've not seen one before, but they say they are ugly people. You'll be wondering why the ugly ones have husbands and the fine ones are still walking around. When you graduated with first class, your certificate was confidence, right? I know it's grace that worked it. You didn't cheat. It's grace. But when you now idolize what grace gave you, God will teach you that you are not designed to receive grace in one dose. Your life was supposed to be perpetually stewarded by grace. So you will walk into an office and you will meet the manager, and the manager will say, your result is too good for this place. Even me, I had a top class. And you'll be wondering, Oga, are you not supposed to be sitting on this side of the table? Oh, you okay? You've not gone for an interview before and the person say you are too qualified. It's because what you brought staggers them. The guy finished ND and didn't go to school again. Now you now came with a master's and you now wrote PhD in view. No. You see, you may need to write SSC. That way we say, okay. When you now enter, I'm giving you wisdom. You enter with SSC. When you now enter, when for the next promotion, when they say tender your documents, you now bring out a few. But don't write PhD in view. It doesn't work for anybody. Even the company owner is a first degree owner. Then you find out that many degrees are not an advantage on a dark day. The race is no longer to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, nor bread to men of skill, nor wealth to men of understanding. What begins to operate now that gives an advantage is time and chance that happens to all of them. And they are not things that you can control. The Lord began to say to me that because we are designed in weakness, a man never really comes to the consciousness of his design until he has used up the energies of his design. You think a Toyota is fast. It's good. You can accelerate to the end. But you find out that the closer you get to the end, the lighter the vehicle is in your hand. If you do that same thing with a BMW, when you are on the same speed, you find out that the BMW you guy is still feeling a heavy vehicle. So until you press towards the end of your strength, you will not be able to measure your true state of strength. And what warfare does is to take us on a journey to our limits. You think you can pray, and you will find out that you will not be able to sleep. Or you think sleep is the enemy of prayer now. What is stronger? Now the sleep will not come, and you ask about me, but the prayer will not come. I've been through trouble in my life, and I know that way. One day I wanted to pray, and I said, Lord, I need to pray, but the thing was not flowing. So I started counting. There's a counter that Muslims use sometimes when they're in the bus. I don't have that kind of counter. So I was doing like this. I now mark the ground. I know to use not prayer. So there's this thing we used to call them, is it tally? Now you draw lines, you now cross. You draw lines, now cross. All I was saying was, Jesus help me. I planned to say it 500 times, at least maybe to equal prayer. And I did. Jesus help me. 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 That's the only thing I could say. And so every time I say it 5 times, I draw a line. So if I cross the line, it means I've done 25. And that's the only thing. I remember I was in Shalom Medical Center. I was just sitting in the house, and I sat. They have a place upstairs where you can look out. That's why I sat like 5 a.m. and carried stuff paper. I don't know. I just felt if I said it 500 times, help will come. It was big trouble. The trouble still came, but he helped me. Oh, he helped me. He helped me. He helped me. All this fine arranged prayer, when it scatters, if it does, you will find out that it is unto him who is able to do exceeding abundantly above that which you can ask or think. That you are not designed to be a product of your prayers. You are supposed to be a product of certain other realities in God, e.g. mercy and grace. I've seen people boast on stage that we came here by prayer. You spoke in tongues like Paul. Paul gathered all the prayers of the apostles and said, I thank my God that I speak in tongues more than you all. He was not in the upper room. But he came in chapter 9, but he outran all of them. And then he comes in 1 Corinthians 15:10 and says, I am what I am by the grace of God. I found out that if you don't arrive at humility too early, there are protocols in the kingdom to administer it. When God deals with a man, people go, see, you will be humble. I used to be small. Say, God, I used to say, God, humble me. Then someone now say, The Bible didn't say we should ask for help to be humbled. The Bible knows that it is within the capacity of this your earthly framework to be humble. So he says, humble yourself. Don't let God help you. Yes. His hands are strong. You were on the rooftop. You thought humbling you will put you on the ground. No. Hit you to the ground. Have you remembered Nebuchadnezzar? You don't have the slightest thought of what God can do to achieve humility in you. So when they are sharing the gift of the Spirit, and the next to be embodied is meekness, embody it. God resists the proud, and his resistance has the capacity to bring the proud to their knees. So arrive early. God knows your frame, so you must also understand your frame. Because you are a bag of infirmities needing help, your infirmities create a consciousness in the day that you are engaged in warfare. And the Lord said to me that this explains in a way the feelings of our infirmities. It's not that the problem is big. It's that the problem brings you to a place of realizing that you are scarred. You know how you love a brother? Comfort. Are you in a relationship now? Okay, I've not told me, but I don't know. Things happen. So if you are, no problem. We'll just talk after the meeting. Who is the guy? Then we move on. So, you've been around this young man. I'm using very mundane examples. You've been around this young man and you think he likes you. And then after a while, you become deserving. You feel there are reasons why he likes you. So I'm intelligent, I'm beautiful, I'm God-fearing, I'm fireful, I have potency in the dark realm, I am industrious. I think those are general things that a lady will have. Until one day you walk into the room and you see him communicating amorously with somebody that even a lady calls fine. What does that bring you into? It may not be a threat, but you suddenly come to a moment of realization that I know fine. You have benchmark until You come to him and you say, let's be going. And he says, oh, meet my younger sister. And you're like, there was no problem. But the variation, you have benchmarked yourself against opposition and you feel, I cannot survive this one. There has been no collision. That was why Israel stayed on the fields of Philistia for 40 days. None of them had attempted Goliath and died. His sound alone left fears in their hearts. That is big, we are small. The Bible says those who observe lying vanities, they forsake their own mercy. You've forgotten that the guy has paid your bride price. You have forgotten that the guy fears God, so he won't cheat on you. You have forgotten all those things. He just fine. Say, these fine people now. I've gone to meetings. I've seen people. Many times I walk into the meeting quietly. Somebody comes, he comes with like 12 guys, all of them in black suit. And then he's coming in, well before, not now. My heart will cut. Say, wait, I want to talk for this place now. You know those conferences that in one session, they are like two speakers. And the guy, you look at the guy's shirt, you look at his shoes. Say, God, you have not tried for me. The guy now comes and comes to the stage and says, Reverend. He now looks to the host and says, please don't be inviting me to speak when Reverend is around. Say, what can we even say now? So you thought that the guy was, but the guy is even intimidated that you came. When I saw you on the flyer, I thought you will not come. So anyway, let us sing and then Reverend will preach. But you are afraid. I went for one of those meetings and my host said to me, you're going to be ministering with so-so person. I said, okay. He said, are you going to come? I said, I'm coming. The man said to me, you know, it's a privilege for you to minister with that person. I'm wondering, why are you rubbing this thing in? He said, we're going to be flying this person in and to be a privilege. I said, okay. So when the person came in, the person said, we can't preach when you're around. The man now looked at me when the person left. What kind? I said, you know, say, we don't get name, but we did where we did. The feelings of our infirmities. A man can suddenly, in the face of trouble, in the face of opposition, become so aware that you are fractured. You go for an interview and everybody's bringing out their CV, and you see the way your CV is the old model. There's an old CV model. Then you see these ones with lines and with bold-faced letters and all of that, and you have not spoken. There are people with beautiful CVs and empty heads. Sometimes the reason why the CV is even good is because the head is empty. But you are staggered. Jesus is not a stranger to how weak you feel. He's touched. And it was on the strength of the ability to feel how weak you feel that he was tempted, because Satan felt that he will fall. You don't tempt a man when there is no notion that that man will fall. But the Bible says he was tempted in all points like as we are, yet without sin. On one side it was overcoming for you, on the other side it was gifting you a template that what you feel about yourself is not your reality. There is the possibility to overcome anything that Satan sends against you. One of the things that assures me is that Satan, by nomenclature, is a defeated foe. Anything that comes out of a foe who is defeated is defeat.